rock here. All right. How you going, everybody? Welcome to Bonsai Down Under. Today, we've got a couple of trees that I'd like to work on, because now we're getting into spring here, up here in Queensland, Australia. So we're getting warmer here now. So I've got a couple of trees here, which I'm going to start on. There's a Triton maple that was given to me as a birthday gift from my brother. So I left it in here before winter. It was before winter he gave it to me. Going into summer, I think, when he gave it to me. It was lovely and green, and it's changed its colours now. Coming into like winter, it dropped its leaves a little bit. They were lovely red colour before, but now they're all dying back, and probably get some. It's a good time now, I think, is to have a look at this pot and see what's going on with these roots in here, and prune them back a little bit, tidy them up, try to get a bit more of a radial base going with them, and yeah, and have a look at the top here. People will probably tickle that up a bit and cut that back, prune that back a little bit, so, and get it to maybe get some new growth for for spring coming up. So yeah, and another one is this Sarissa, which was a really wild plant when I first got it. These Sarissas, they're like just vines. They just grow out tentacles everywhere. And I've had to train this to this sort of style here that I've got here, and I'm looking for like a nice broom style over the top sort of thing. And so this is the pot it came in when I got it from the Home Depot, Bunnings, mind you, here in Australia. Yeah, so I haven't touched it since I bought it. I've left it in this pot. Now I think it's time. It's the leaves look a little bit pale and that, and I have been giving it just a little bit, not real heavy fertilizer over the winter time. Just a little bit of light stuff, liquid fertilizer, just a little bit in the water each time as I feed it with a bit of water. And so yeah, I think it's time to have a look at these roots, because with the Sarissas, I know by a bit of knowledge of looking online a lot with a lot of other people that have Sarissas, they can be very vigorous with the root system. So we're going to have a look at that today, and we'll get that straightened out before spring comes, and we'll keep updating these, and all the ones that I do. So yeah, this is a new channel I'm starting up, and so yeah, I hope you may be interested in some of this bonsai work that we're going to do, and because yeah, I've had an interest with it for about 2 years, and I do like it. It's very relaxing when you work with these plants, and very stress-free sort of thing. A little hobby that you can do, and you can keep it less expensive as you want. You can, yeah, and you can keep it a small scale, or you can grow big bonsais. Later on, I'll show you some that I've been having a little experiment with the bigger style bonsais, and some great ideas that I've got off watching people online, which is where I've got a lot of my ideas and advice and everything like that. Watching some of these other great people that are on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, a shout out to Nigel over in Canada, you know, and the Aussie bonsai bloke. He's see him. He is wonderful. He's a great bloke to watch, and yeah, and I've learned lots of him, and Nigel too. So so anyway, let's get into it, and I'll stop talking, and all this is to come up on the Bonsai Down Under. Thank you. Okie dokie, let's have a look at this one, eh? Let's have a look at this Triton first. So I'm planning on just leaving it back in this pot because I think at the moment I don't really have a lot of pots. I'm going to purchase a few online. At the moment I'm not really worried about putting them in really flash bonsai pots and going out with the major expense with my bonsais at the moment. Like I said, I've only been doing this for 2 years now. So I'm still establishing plants and growing them and learning a lot of techniques as I go along the way. So yeah, so what we'll do with this one is we'll take it out of its pot. We'll put it in here, so we've got a big bucket here we can put this in. Yep. And we'll, just mind me for a moment, I'll just grab it and see if we can pull it out of the pot. Actually, what we might do is take it out of here and we'll put this in here. You might mind if we so you can see what I'm doing here a bit better. So we'll get our little shovel here first, I think, and I think we might loosen up the sides of it a bit. Go around, just in case we don't. It feels fairly tight, so I feel as though it's going to be, yeah, it's really due for some root reduction, and we'll cut them back a bit and clean it up a lot. So we'll just go around it first, I think, with these ones that you buy usually in these shops and like these nurseries and things, they don't usually tie them in. They just wait until they get established because they're sort of always out under cover and they're out of the wind and that. And so I don't see any ties underneath there or anything like that. So now we've loosened that up on the sides a little bit. It might come out a bit more better. Yeah. So you know, it's got a little bit of give there. We'll probably, what we'll make do now is we'll put it in here, in that tray. Yeah, I'll just get it out first, just so we can get it out. So yeah, it's pretty well in there good. Yeah, in here. And this is the thing with these ones. When you buy these from those nurseries, they get pot bound really fast. You've got to take them out of those pots. Yeah, you can tell that it's really pot bound. Sorry about this tray, it's probably too high, but I'm just going to get this out. We just sort of show you. So here it comes. Ooh, look at that. See that there? That's what happens when you buy them from these nurseries. They rebound in those little pots so fast, and so yeah, eventually I will be changing it out of that pot. It's just for now. What we'll do is we'll clean up the roots, give them a good wash and everything like that, and we'll come back and we'll have a look at the roots, and we'll see what they're doing. All right, so it won't be long. I'll give it a wash out and a clean out and everything like that, and we'll be back. Rightio, we're back, guys. All right, we're giving this a good wash out. As you can see, look at that. Look at the roots on that. It's got a really good root system, but they're all over the place. So we're going to have to, it's probably a good time to take that out of that pot and now to give it a really good, start training these roots and cleaning them up. So what we'll do is we'll start raking them out. getting them outwards, and because there's a lot here that we've got to correct. So we don't want any crossing roots on the bottom here, so we're gonna push them out. Start right trying to get them to come out a little bit there, and yes. This is actually quite flat on the bottom, which I feel as though it might have been a cutting. So yeah, we're getting late in the afternoon here now. I did start this pretty late this afternoon, but we'll have to get out the scissors, and we're gonna have to do a little bit of pruning here before we clean this up a bit. We gotta so we will clean up these roots a little bit, eh? Now we've got a lot of roots underneath here, which I want to correct, and anything going downwards is is no good to keep it all. This actually would be a good specimen for a root over rock, because it's got a lot of roots, main roots already all the way around the trunk of the trunk line there. But we've got a lot of underneath here that could come out, and they're going all funny directions. So we'll just correct a lot of this under here, because it's all we want a nice to start getting these roots to it's a good time now to start getting these roots sorted out. Because there are a lot of correction here. Yeah. So what we'll do is we're going to go around and check every root out. Yeah. We've got roots coming out, and we've got them coming over on a funny angle, and they're going to go down. So I want to correct that. So I want it to have a nice sort of base. We'll take it right back to there, I think, and to get rid of all that yucky curliness. See, this is why I was really waiting for summer, is to correct a lot of these roots now. Spring to come along too. It's a nice time, and things are gonna bounce back. So that root's not too bad. We've got another one here that it goes down and it goes on a funny angle. So we'll correct it back up here a bit where we get a nice radial, and we'll get some other roots should it feed off that. They will come out of that cut point now. So, and I've got a root in here that's crossing over. It's in a funny angle. I don't like it. It's like it's crossing over. So we'll correct that and see if we can get it to grow on a different angle. So I'll take that out too. This one this root here, it's sort of going straight down, which is not what you really want in your thing, so in your roots. So if we maybe we cut it up on an angle, we might get it to re-root out of there. So we want to still keep a lot of this radial roots, because these little fine feeder roots are the things that you want to really keep. You don't want to lose too much of that when you're doing when you're doing a root prune. Because we can't go too vigorous with it straight away, because it puts a lot of stress on the tree. But you want to correct the worst ones, I think, because otherwise down the track it's just going to you're going to create a lot more problems. Here, see, we've got where this comes out of here. See, this is why I'm saying, look, I think it was a cutting, because it's got the longer base at the bottom here, and then the roots had formed higher. The root base had formed higher. So I think I will cut that back pretty flush. I think it's a good idea to cut that back. So we'll get the side cutters. I'll get my side cutters out and I'll have a look at that. I think I'll try to get it nice and close here, and see how it's got that root on the bottom, and that extension there on the bottom. And there's a root that goes all the way down on the ground here. I'd like to maybe correct that too, to get that out of there. So it's a bit tricky, because we've got, what I might do is rake that out a little bit more. See what I've got down here. See? We've still got a lot of crossing roots here that we want to correct. This one goes on a funny angle. I don't like that one either. This one's going downwards. We've got a lot of activity here, I think, and it interferes with another root. It sort of comes over and clashes with that root there, this root. So I'd like to maybe cut it back and then see what I get from that point there. Yeah, just to see what I get there. Maybe it might correct itself a bit better. Now we've got this root over here, like I said, it goes straight down. I think there's roots on the top too, so we'll cut that. I think I'll cut that back too and see what happens. We've got feeder roots coming out from that point, which is not too bad. Correcting that root there would be better if it came around more. Put a rock in there or something, maybe to separate those two roots there, because that's not a bad root that comes out, and it's a nice radial pattern there. Now it's this thing in here, this main bit in here, I would like to remove. It is a matter of where I can get in and take it out. It's really not a taproot or anything. It's just the bottom where the cutting was, I think. I'd like to, let's see if I can get rid of it. There we go. I think that's it. There's another bit here that goes straight down too, which we'll remove. Yeah, that's opened that up a lot better now. Underneath there now, it's gotten that away. So we've still got heaps of feeder roots there. I think it'll be fine. Just see if we can take that back a bit more to clean that point up. That's better. Yeah. Yeah, that's sitting. That will sit a lot better in the pot, I think. Eh? We've collected some of those up there now. It's right. So that looks pretty good now. So I think we'll be ready to maybe throw this in a bit of soil now. And just get rid of our mess here. Yep. And I'll just rake these out a bit. See, you don't want to go too vigorous, I think. You've got to leave something there. You leave some roots there, because otherwise you will take too much away, and the plant. I mean, it's not a bad time to mow. It's going to recover. It'll recover. It's done the plant a world of good. The heat was really hot bound in there, in the bottom. So what we'll do now is we'll just take some of these back a little bit, just to tidy them up a little bit here. Let's tidy those roots up a little bit. So we got I don't like that root going that way. So I want all nice radial out there. There's a crossing root there too. I want to get rid of that. So we can't go too crazy really. Just going to clean up this base a little bit more here. There's a couple that are inside. Yeah, a little bit of work each time, I think now. We'll correct it. Removing all of that stuff that's inside a little bit more. Remove that a bit more now. I think that might be a little bit vigorous for these scissors, but we'll just yeah. So that's what we're at. But it looks, you know, more of a those roots heading outwards and displaying out now. We'll put that back in this pot now, and we'll see what happens with it. I think it's going to be it will bounce back pretty good, I think now. Because like I said, we're warming up now and everything's warming up. So let's get this and see if it goes back in the pot all right. Cut them back a little bit more. Give it a little bit more room again to do its thing in the pot here. Yeah. Rightio, let's have a look at that now. This is quite a I couldn't really do much like to change the style of this tree. It's quite upright style. So, you know, we'll get some soil in there. I think the upright, and I'm going to go maybe like a broom style. We could probably wire these down a little bit later. But I'm not going to bother with that until the tree is a little bit more established, because I don't think it's going to grow that fast that I can't put a bit of wire to wire them out a little bit later. But I don't want to go too crazy with it. So, well, you know, it's all a learning curve, really. You know, it's like, but I think that's a lot better for the tree to balance it out a lot better than what that root system had in there. So, all right, so we'll get this potted. Basically sits up there by itself now. All right, get some soil. So we got this Scott's here. It's a Osmocote bonsai soil. It's pretty good. You know, I don't really have any dramas with it. It works pretty good. It's quite good with filtering in that. It filters it through all right. So, yeah. And that's what we'll do is we'll get a little bit of it and put it in the bottom of the pot here first. There we go. Put a little bit in the bottom of the pot here. I've got a couple little drainage holes there in the bottom there I've already put in. A little bit of screen mesh. I don't wire it in. You know, there's no need to really wire it in. The tree's not going to be sitting stationary. So we'll put a little mound there. Right. I do have a little chopstick or something here. This is a little bit of coat hanger, you know, something like that, like a little chopstick. So just to get all the air out, get all the looseness out of it, so it sits nice. Sit it in here. And really, at the moment, I'm not really concerned about the front, because it's quite an upright tree, and I think something, where I'm looking at the moment, I think something like that might be all right. Well, but you've got a fair bit, so that's why I'm telling you this would be good for a root over rock. You've got a rock on that, and those roots develop down on that rock, which I do have a ficus later on that I'm going to have a bit of an idea with, like that later. So just to put a bit more soil in there, we will. So we've got that right tucked in underneath now. So it sits there, no gaps in it. That's good. Just centre it off to the middle a little bit. See, like I said, it's only a young tree at the moment, and the next repotting probably I will put into a we'll go into a larger pot. But we'll see how this grows in here a bit now. It might get a bit more development. I want a little bit more development happening up top before I decide to so, you know, as long as that trunk line is, I think, I'm looking at that, it's just sitting above the top a little bit. I think that's all right. I want to come this way a little bit. You don't really want it like directly center in the middle, so just off center a little bit. I think that's pretty good. So what we'll do now is we'll just fill this in. There's the soil, like so. Get it in there. So this has got a nice little sort of a blend in it. This soil, it's quite well, you know. It's not like, you know, as long as it filters through with water. That's your main thing that you want, really. You know, it's. You don't want water sitting in your pot. You want it to free flow right through. I do want to expose a little bit of that nabari of the roots there on the bottom a little bit, but we don't want to expose too much for now. Just a little bit there, and I'm just going to take this just like a little bit underneath, because I'm going to cover it with a little bit of stone too on the top. I don't have moss this time of the year. I do get moss from this place. It's a place, one of these shopping centres. I've got a good spot where I collect moss from. But just after winter, I probably could go and get a bit more at the moment, because I'd have some there still. Yeah, it just grows straight on the concrete, and I just pick it off there. I don't have much moss around where I live. Up here it's where and plus during the summer too, the moss, I know the moss is good because it creates roots closer to the top of your surface. You get a lot more top roots that develop. But yeah, as long as I think you've got that covered, and plus I do like the rocks too, because the rocks are still filtering, good filtering system for it. And so, you know, that's in there fairly firm now. And what I like to do is just maybe, you can do is, I mean, you can put a rock in there too if you want to, to make it a little bit, you know, get a little design on there happening. So I'll just fill in here now with these little pebbles on the top here a little bit, I think, just to fill in. I think this plant's going to do a whole lot better now that we've done that root pruning back on it. So we probably won't get to the Sarissa today, so that probably we'll have to have a go at that again in the next video. So I think just a little bit of rocks on the top here. Over the top, it's only in training, you know. It's only a young tree, like I said, and with these ones that you get from these nurseries, I mean, they do take a while to grow too when you have them in a smaller pot. You go and put it in the ground or something like that. This tree, as I said, it would take off so much quicker, and that's what I want to show you later on. A bit of an idea that I've got going with getting some thickness on your trunk pretty quick, and quite good taper and development over the whole structure of the tree. So I'll show you a tree later on that I bought. Was not even the size of my little finger. Yeah, and it's been in this system now for about a bit over 2 years, and now it's nearly 1.5 inches in thickness, the trunk. So, and you know, that's just been in this in this idea that I have, and it's really thickened up the trunk. So, okay, guys, that's about it. And you know, we might put a little stone in there. Just I like to put a little thing in there, just like put it off center sort of thing. It doesn't have to be like straight lines, you know. You can do whatever you want. You could put it on an angle, but maybe just like on a bit of an angle in there like that. Little stone if you're facing from the front. There, so, and really just to finish off, I would like to maybe just do a little, give it a little water. I will give it just a little tickle up in places, but this is, like I said, it's still developing a lot. Now, see, I have 2 branches. I've got 2 branches that are like a ladder going out next to each other there. You really, and we've got a bit of an issue with this pot plant too, because see, you've got a junction here where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 branches coming off that one junction there, one area. So you're going to end up with some reverse tape with that, like if you let those 4 branches grow in that one area. So you want to maybe cut them back. So I believe I probably don't want this one down in here, this little one down here. So I'm going to remove it. But I don't want to do too much because there's not really a great deal of vigor on the trees. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically take it back a little bit, you know, just give it a quick prune back. See, there we've got 2 locations happening there, and I'll just remove that little bit of a spuck there. That one's got 2 in it there. I'm just going to wait and really see what this is going to do now. We could just clean up some of these little bits that are around the place. So like you said, I've got 4 there. Right, so if I say this was like my front, there is a knot here where there was a branch cut out before. So like I said, we can change direction with this tree too. Even though we've got a bit of a straight area here, we can get a little bit of taper happening. Is remove basically all that top, and then use this as your leader or something like that. I'd use that as a leader, or come up a bit more and use one of these as a new leader, and take some of this away. Depends how high you really want to do the tree. I mean, I think I'm going to just keep these at, they're not going to be like super large bonsais in these specimens I have here. So there's a certain height I think I want to keep it at. But at the moment, like I said, I think with Tritons, they are Triton maples. They're quite vigorous, and they will come back if you do prune them. So, like I said, there's 4 at this one section here. We've got this new one here, this new branch here. I've got one shooting out this way here, and there's one coming out this way. So, well, that's not fun. I think I was gonna. So I might keep that as a back branch there for now. See if something develops out there. I'll leave this for now. Like I said, I think this tree was really suffering for being root bound. So we don't really want to put too much more stress on the tree. So yeah, but we do have to correct. I think I still got to correct that where that junction is with those 4 branches coming out of it. You can't have that really. It's a matter of choosing. If you cut something else will branch out somewhere else. You know what I mean? Later on down the track. So yeah, I don't know if it's a contemplating thing. You don't really need to really hum and ha about it. Which I think we could bring this around a little bit, wire down a little bit, and maybe remove these here, because we've got this branch here, and then I think I'm going to remove the fat one. This fat one here, I think I might remove that fat one. It's funny because they're all in the same area, right? They're all in the same junction. They're all similar height. They're not. I think that's what the Triton maples do. They sort of branch out like a broomstone. But I'd like to develop them in different levels if I can. So anyway, look, what we'll do is we've got buds coming out there too. I think I'd like to shorten this. Let's see what happens if I take that away. We've got a cut point up the top here. I'd like to maybe just remove. Yes, I'd like to remove that out of there. I think I'll take this back one off from here. Get a nice flush cut there. I do want to leave some leaves on the shelf. But as saying, it's now what we'll do is I'd like to get rid of this cut point like that on the top. So now we're left with is the two at the top here. I think it looks better. I actually think it looks better that way. Which we could develop that. We could bring that down. We could bring that branch down. Keep this one. Keep that one. I don't think we need to keep this one here to cut out. I think we'll take the bigger one away. It's usually better to keep that. Usually better to keep the bigger, the smaller ones, and then develop them. And remove the bigger ones. Because I think now for this plant, well, we will keep this in the shade for a while. This plant, I think, until it recovers, bounces back a little bit. So we've got new buds coming out here. So I believe, yeah, because it wants to try and do what it's supposed to do for, you know, what it is supposed to do. It's a bit overkill to use that, isn't it? So what we'll do is we'll cut that one back. We've got some buds that are popping out all over the place over here. So we can reduce, I think, that for now. Which I think it's ready to bud out. We'll leave these two leaves on there for now. Which is... And there's a little bit of a cut point in the middle there too, that little stumpy bit in the middle here. We'll see if we can clean that up a bit. Looks a bit better. So it really doesn't look like much at the moment. So now it's got to recover. Yeah, so anyway, that's that repotted. So yeah, I think it was best to leave it in this pot it's in for now. It's no good putting it into a larger pot, or you know, I think because it's still got a massive long way to get great root development, a good radial root base happening, and that's what you really want to concentrate on first. Is getting your roots worked out first, getting a nice radial system with your roots, and getting them strong, and getting them to be developed in the right place where you want them. Because when that tree starts to grow and it survives for you, that's going to depend on how your root system is developed, which will depend on the whole tree, the energy it feeds up the tree. Yeah, so you need to the unbalancing that you will get if you don't correct that root system first. So yeah, that's a major factor. I think with some of my bonsais, they don't really look like much at the moment, but I mean, you know, you've got to follow the journey with them, and see where they go. If you're interested in this channel, if you're watching, and if you've stumbled across this later on, and you enjoy watching it, and you might get something out of it, or you mightn't. So yeah, so that's it for now. Because we're getting quite dark here now. We're getting late in the afternoon, so I'm going to lose a lot of light. But anyway, we repotted this Triton maple, and we've corrected the root system for now, and so I'll put it somewhere where it's gonna have a bit of time to recover, and we'll do an update back on it in about a couple of months' time, after it's been through its spring and we're getting into summer. So by then, maybe we should have some new growth on the tree, hopefully. So thanks for watching, and I hope you maybe got something out of this. And like I said, I'm only just starting with my new channel. We'll catch up next time. Thank you.